Hey everyone, I hope you're having a fantastic day. Thank you so much for being here and for subscribing to my YouTube. I hope you guys have been enjoying the content over the past few weeks or months, I guess it's been. I don't know if you noticed, but I hired an editor, and so that's why there's been just like a lot more content recently. But I realized that if you guys don't watch my Twitch channel, you pretty much have no context for what's going on in my life over the past few months because I very rarely do things like this where I just talk directly to you, my YouTube community. And I think that is a mistake that I've been making for a while now, and I wanted to address that. So I have always thought of myself as a Twitch streamer who does YouTube on the side, because in the past I was editing all my videos myself, which is why there was only like one or two a month, because I would stream on Twitch for like 40 hours a week or more, and just never had time really to do any more YouTube stuff other than that. So the content just kind of ramped up in the past few months because we hired editors and when I say we, I mean the like management company and everything. So there's been a lot more stuff in the past few months, and I hope you guys have been enjoying that. But that still leaves kind of this blank spot where you guys have no idea about what's going on with me, because I talk about it on my Twitch stream all the time, but obviously that stuff doesn't really get cut into these videos. So the past few months have just been kind of a disaster over and over and over again. And so I want to tell you guys about what's been going on. And I want to preface this by saying that I'm not making this video for you to like feel bad for me, and I'm not trying to be like, oh, poor me, my life is terrible or anything like that. It's just that it's been kind of crazy, and I feel like I've been one of the least lucky people for the past 4 months, and I want you guys to understand that if I'm not responding to YouTube comments, or if it feels like things have been off or whatever, that there's a lot going on that I just haven't been talking about on YouTube. So back in January, I was living in a house with my sister, and that house was owned by someone else. We were renting it from them. And my sister, when I told her that I wanted to move closer to LA and so that I could be closer to my friends and, you know, closer to all the work things that I have to do that are always in Los Angeles, she told the person that we were thinking of moving. And so they decided that they wanted to sell their house, which is fine. And my sister decided she wanted to buy a house somewhere else, which is also fine. The problem was that she bought a house in pretty much the span of like a week and a half. And so I had almost no time to look for a new place that I wanted to move to because, you know, I have to take the day, go to LA, look at houses, and then apply for places and wait for those places to say whether or not they approve. And it's like this whole process, right? So I basically had no time to do any of that. And so I decided, okay, I'm going to move from house number 1 into house number 2 with my sister, which was fine. And then I'll wait for a few months, and then after, you know, maybe later this year in like the fall or something, I'll finally move to Los Angeles, and then everything will be cool. Once we got to the second house in February, we moved. The internet was so bad that I couldn't stream almost at all. I was dropping frames constantly. It was like thousands of drop frames, and there was nothing I could do. And I've had internet issues in pretty much every house I've lived in since I started streaming. And I called them and I set up an appointment, and actually they sent the supervisor who had helped me in the past with different issues, which was cool because he understands streaming. He knows what I do. He's seen, you know, my setup through the years and everything. And so they just came and immediately they replaced the entire line from the pole in the backyard to the room where I was streaming. And that didn't even fix it at all. It didn't even help. So I told him, and he was like, okay, you know, I'll dig into this more, see what we can figure out. And he called me back one day while I was streaming, actually, and he told me, bad news. We basically can't fix your internet for at least 6 months because there's all these poles and stuff that need to be upgraded, and they're in people's backyards. And so apparently, for whatever reason, it's like really difficult to upgrade everything. So they can do it, but it'll take half a year. And that's just not going to work for me. I have to stream. I have to do this on a regular basis. I can't just struggle for the next 6 months waiting for them to finally fix everything. And I wanted to move anyways, right? Like I wanted to move to LA, so what's the point? So I basically had to find a place to live and do that very quickly because not being able to stream costs me money, right? Like this is my job. I have to do this. So I found a new place to live and I started moving things in one day about a week before the actual official move day. I was like, okay, I'll just go and I'm going to move some stuff in so that I'll be kind of ready to start streaming as soon as I get the full move done. So I had already started the move from house number 2 to house number 3 in March. That was like about the second week of March. While I was moving stuff to the new house, I had asked my mom to watch the dogs at my sister's house because I didn't want to have to move Rhea with me while I'm trying to move boxes and stuff. There's a lot going on. So she was watching the dogs for me at my sister's house because my sister was out of town. So when I was driving back, my mom called me and she said that one of our dogs, Nala, was really sick. She said there was something very wrong with her and that she had rushed her to the emergency vet hospital. And she said that she had been having seizures just suddenly overnight. We don't know what happened. My mom took her to the vet hospital and they were doing all these tests and everything. And so I told her, like, I'll be there in, a few hours. So just I'll meet you there. And we got there and the doctor was explaining everything to me. And we were saying, did she eat something that was like poisonous or did she, did something happen? And he said, it's possible, but it's unlikely because, we did blood tests and we didn't find anything. And she's not like throwing up or anything. It's just that she had these really bad seizures. And so they thought that she had a brain tumor. And before that, she had no other signs, right? Like we didn't notice anything different about her. She's older, she was 13 years old. And so she was kind of a little arthritic and that kind of stuff, but that's normal for an older dog. And yeah, so she just had these like really, really bad seizures. And they said that she needed to be hospitalized and then watched very carefully in case she had any other seizures. It could be very bad for her. And so they put her on this anti-seizure medication. My sister got home later that night. She went with me to the vet hospital. We picked up Nala and we went to take her home. And on the way home from the vet hospital, Nala had another seizure. They told us that if any of the seizures that she had, well, they first of all, they said that she would probably have more seizures because I guess once you have one seizure, it makes you more likely to have more of them, which is terrible. But they said that if she had seizures that were less than a minute long, then it was kind of okay and just to ride it out. So we were timing the seizures and she was having, really short, maybe 5 seconds or so. But we had her on the anti-seizure meds and we were hoping that would help. And, we weren't sure because they said that they can't do an MRI to check if she has a brain tumor because there, I guess, is no MRI machine for dogs in our area. So we would have to make an appointment at the nearest one, which was about a 2-hour drive away. And then we would have to, which is not a big deal. Like, obviously, we would drive the 2 hours, but we were like, okay, we have to make the appointment and then we have to take her there, get the results back. And then if she has a brain tumor, she has to start like radiation or chemotherapy. But we weren't sure still if she maybe just ate something. Like there's a variety of things that could be poisonous to a dog in like your backyard and maybe you don't know about it, So we just weren't really sure what to do. And that whole week, we left her in the living room. We put her bed in the living room and I slept on the sofa with her every night because she would have to go to the bathroom a lot. And so she was having accidents in the house and that kind of thing. And so I would watch her so that my sister could sleep. And then, yeah, so I was sleeping on the sofa and taking her outside like, once every couple hours. So I pretty much didn't stream at all that entire week because we were just watching Nala and making sure that she was okay. we thought she was starting to get better, but her movement was really unsteady. It was like she couldn't really walk very well, and it started to get worse. She wasn't having seizures anymore, but she couldn't really walk on her own. She kept falling over, and that's really hard to see your dog, just kind of stumbling, and she didn't really seem like she was there anymore. She was like, you would call her name and she would kind of turn her head, but she wasn't really making eye contact anymore, which was very weird for her because she always, was really happy to be the center of attention. And, we wanted to go ahead and make the appointment for the MRI, but it just got so much worse in the span of like 2 or 3 days that we were like, even if we do make the appointment, do we have enough time at this point to get her into, is radiation going to do anything? Because it's a long process, right? It doesn't just fix you like overnight. So, we took her back to the vet, and we explained everything that was going on. While we were there, Nala just collapsed at a certain point, like while we were talking, and the vet was like, this seems really bad. It seems like she has a brain tumor that was, for whatever reason, just not giving us any signs. And then suddenly, overnight, she just got really, really sick. So, yeah, we, unfortunately, we had to put Nala down. It was very, very sad and hard to do because we've had Nala for about 12 years. And she's a great dog. She's wonderful. Just an absolute little bundle of joy. But it was hard for us to watch her suffering like that. Like she couldn't even walk anymore. She could barely even stand to like eat food, and she was obviously not doing well. And that was really rough. So the day that we put her down, was the day before I was moving to the house that I'm currently living in. So I had to say goodbye to my dog and then move to a new house the next day. And I felt terrible for my sister because it was like, we put Nala to sleep and then I just left, and she still has Violet and her other dog. And then my mom still lives in like the same area as her. So I was like, okay, like she's got a little network of people still, she's got her job and everything here. So she's not like alone. But I felt terrible because I'm like, okay, now I have to go. But like, that's, that was my schedule. And I had like scheduled the movers and everything. And so I moved to the new house. That was about like the 3rd week of March. The 1st week of April, I had to have one of my teeth extracted. So one of my molars back here had a crown on it from a long time ago, and for whatever reason, long story short, they couldn't save it anymore. So I actually had to have my tooth taken out. And the day after I had my tooth taken out, I woke up and there was a water leak in one of the rooms in my house. So the paint was peeling off the ceiling and it was just dripping. And I was just like, I'm gonna kick something. So it was the guys who installed the laundry machine. I ordered like a laundry machine, like a washer and a dryer from Home Depot, and they hire like contractors to install the stuff, right? So the guys who installed it did not install the water pipes correctly, and so it was leaking behind the wall down into the floor below, where the ceiling was, dripping now. So I had to call them. That's still not resolved, by the way. It's kind of toward the end of May now, and that was the beginning of April that happened. There's just holes in the ceiling, and I'm waiting for them to send somebody to fix it. They've had people looking at it and stuff, but it's still not fixed. So, also I just discovered, we're jumping kind of back and forth now. The dryer wasn't installed correctly either. There's a big, like, kind of metal hose that goes to the dryer for all the hot air to go out. and that just fell off. They're supposed to like clamp it or tape it or something, and they just didn't even do that. So that thing wasn't installed correctly either. Ugh, God. So I would not recommend using their like contractor services to get things installed. If you can do it yourself, you'd probably be better off, to be honest. So anyways, so the water was, the house was leaking. After that, I had to take my car in to have service done on it because it had an oil leak and like some other issues where I couldn't pass smog, which is like a thing you have to do in California. Your car has to be tested for emissions, and if it doesn't pass, then you can't register your car. So I took my car in. They gave me like a loaner so that I could drive around still, which was great because they ended up having my car for 3 weeks. In the meantime, I was in severe pain from my tooth extraction, and I had to go to the dentist almost every day for a week straight. And in the meantime, I'm still trying to stream and, move into a new house. I'm still trying to unpack stuff. My tooth was in pain, and I had to go to the dentist like every day. So, God, that was just a disaster. And after that, I got my car back. My tooth started feeling better. Like right now, I'm great. It's still like healing up, because they like took a tooth out, so it's gotta take time. I got my car back, and then I got sick. I had a cold, so that wasn't too bad. At least that was probably like the least terrible of all the things. But yeah, it was like immediately I got sick. I went to visit my family for Mother's Day, and then my check engine light came on in my car. After I spent like $5,000 getting it fixed, the check engine light came back on for something that's completely unrelated to any of the stuff that they worked on. So it's like not like they did something wrong. It's just that my car is trying to kill me. And so I might have to just say goodbye to it. Because it's starting to like cost more money than it might be worth to, keep fixing it. So yeah, that brings us to the present. The holes in my ceiling are still not fixed, and they're gonna have to send somebody out to like cut it out and replace all the drywall and paint it and stuff like that. Yeah, so that is the saga, my tale of the past 4 months. It's been just nonstop. It's just been nonstop. I couldn't believe when I saw my check engine light come on when I was driving my car. I was like, I'm gonna drive this thing off of a pier into the ocean, and that will be the end of it. Just like I can't deal with this anymore. But it hasn't all been bad. It's been the new house is great. I love this new house. Other than the water leak, which is not the house's fault, right? But it's really great because I live close to my friends now. I get to see them all the time. We get to hang out, and I don't feel I felt really isolated in this house that I was living in before because I was really far from everything. And it was nice being able to spend time with my family, but it was still just it was challenging, So yeah, it's definitely been a challenging few months, but it's been not all terrible. I've got some really cool stuff going on with I have a sponsorship from Synology right now, which is this really cool company that makes products for home media storage and backup solutions, that kind of thing. And Corsair, my sponsorship is upgraded now. They used to just sponsor me for my peripherals, and now they actually sponsor me for all of my PC parts too. So RAM, cooling, cases, everything, which is great because I love Corsair and I've loved working with them over the past few years. And I have Jinx merch now, which Jinx is this really awesome merch company that they have a lot of deals with like Overwatch and The Witcher and all that stuff. You guys probably have seen that they do merch for Shroud now, and they have a few pieces for me. I've got 2 shirts on the Jinx store, which some of the sizes are sold out. I'm not sure if they're gonna do like another run of sizes. I think there might be a thing on the website where you can say like, I want to buy this in this size. And I think if they get enough requests, then they'll be like, okay, we'll print some more. But I know for sure that we've got other stuff coming out. There's like hats, and there's a hoodie design that I'm really excited about. There's going to be some summer launch stuff, so keep an eye out for that. And I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for supporting me and for subscribing to my YouTube and interacting with the videos, commenting, liking, all that stuff really helps me out. And yeah, I will do my best to do more videos kind of like this in the future. I would like to do some more kind of like life stuff. I'm gonna work on another like AMA video where you guys can send in questions. I'll probably do that on Twitter, and we'll put your questions in the video, and I'll answer them and that kind of thing. So thank you guys for being here and being a positive beacon of light in the disaster that has been my life for the past 4 months. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.